Tune in to the Diva Hot Shot.
Tuning into my show today. Our guest is Galit. She is a co-founder, TV host, CEO, and a coach at Everyday Women. Thank you, Galit, for joining us.
Thank you, Paris.
So, can you share with us your journey and what inspired you to become an entrepreneur and at Everyday Women?
Absolutely. It started way before Everyday Woman. Everyday Woman is only about 4 years old. We started it during COVID in March 2020, believe it or not, crazy. But my entrepreneurial journey actually started in college in my 20s. I was just about to graduate with my business degree, and I was watching my friends all scrambling to go on interviews and get jobs. And I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't really want anybody to tell me what I could and couldn't do. So I decided to figure out how I could have my own business. And that's when I got my real estate license. And that's really when I started my entrepreneurial journey. 2 years later, I opened my first real estate company, which is Commercial Professionals. And it kind of just went from there.
Okay. And so personal branding is really crucial to being successful in today's world. How did you develop your personal brand and what tips could you share with people that are trying to start their own business?
Absolutely. So for me, what I've recognized, especially since internet and we'll just say social media, I'm not going to say personal branding wasn't important 27 years ago when I started in my journey, but today more than ever, we have all of these things at our fingertips really for free, unless you pay for ads, right? Which I don't pay for them. And we've got this opportunity to enter and put ourselves in front of this huge audience. So I think personal branding, answering your question, is so important because I have the opportunity, you have the opportunity to get in front of our ideal client every single day, multiple times a day. And what happens when people watch you on video or read your post is they start kind of feeling like they know you.
Right.
And think about movie stars, right? I'm a total pop culture girl. I love musicians, I love artists, I love movie stars. And sometimes I feel like I know them because I'm watching them cook and
Right.
I'm watching them take their kids to school. And so personal branding for me really is the key because I now can build a relationship almost indirectly with so many people that could potentially become my clients, buy my products, be part of my services, whatever it might be. So for me, it would really come down to what is it, like, know, and trust? I think it is, Paris.
Right.
They've got to know me, like me, and trust me before they're going to give me their credit card.
And also, I feel like you're just saying, personal brand gives people more of an insight. You become more personal, but also personal branding. I feel like I took a class one time, and they were like, if something's going on in the news, and you want to like talk about it. Don't get on social media because again, that can affect your personal brand as well.
Agreed. Agreed. I completely agree. So when you look at my social media, I'm on all the platforms. And I've got a nice following because of the growing that I'm doing. I do my best to keep politics out, and I do my best to keep religion out, and I do my best to keep conflicting type things that people are going to argue with me about. And every once in a while, I fail. One day, years ago, during Me Too, I felt strong about being interviewed by the local news, and I talked about it. And let me just tell you, even women went at me, which is
Right.
crazy. But occasionally I speak about something I'm passionate about in the news, like being a single mom and things
Right.
like that. They're just haters. But I think that you have to kind of ask yourself, what is the base of my personal brand and what is it I want to put out there? So if you look at my stuff, Paris, it's inspirational, motivational, genuine, kind.
Right.
People say I'm approachable, girl next door, even though I think I'm too old to be the girl next door. But you know what I mean?
Never
I
too.
Yeah, I think that you really have to calculate sometimes what you're putting out there and if it really is going to impact it. And we've seen it with cancel culture with people that
Right.
are really well known.
Yeah. And so, as a TV host, what are some key lessons that you learned about effective communication and connecting with your audience?
So effective communication is a big one for me. I have a master's in therapy. I went back to school at 38 to learn about how our mind works.
Okay.
And one of the things that I learned about a lot was how to communicate, right? Because I was seeing clients in therapy for anxiety, depression, divorce, cheating. Like, think about it. I heard it.
Okay.
And I don't practice anymore, but I wanted to get my degree so I could learn. And I think for me, what I found out also being a professional speaker and getting hired by companies to talk about effective communication is we're never really taught how to communicate. I mean, I took communication 101 in college, but that taught me how to speak in front of crowds.
Right,
It
right.
didn't teach me how to speak to you, Paris, how to listen to you, how to be empathetic.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So for me, a big piece of the tips that I would give for effective communication and about being a TV host is that listen first, respond second. Ask first, respond second. We have this thing where we like to make a lot of assumptions.
Mm-hmm.
We already think we know what you're going to say. We think we're psychic, which we're not,
Right.
before somebody speaks. And also, we are not aware sometimes about our body language and our facial expressions, right? Sometimes people will snap photos while I'm on stage speaking. I'm like, why was I making that face? Even though it was a 3-second face, right? But they caught it. So if you really think about it, the fights you have, the disagreements you have, the reactions you have, are you really thinking them through?
Mm-hmm.
Are you really listening to what that person says? Are you hearing what they're saying?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times we're just ready to jump or we're ready to react or give our opinion without being asked.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So for me, effective communication hasn't just been something I speak about, but I personally work on it every single day in my personal relationship. It's
Right.
always harder when it's with your significant other, right?
It is. It is. And like you said, even when it comes to like your personal branding and being effective, communicating effectively, and also being an active listener, that's really important when you're establishing your brand because, like you said, we're so much on the defense side all the time, being attack, attack, attack. We're not really listening to what other people are saying in their opinions and validating how they feel. Now, we might not agree with it, but people want to make sure that they're being heard.
Yes, most people like to be heard. There are
Right.
some people that more are listeners than speakers, but even people that are commonly listeners in my life really want to know that I hear them. And what
Right.
happens is we live in this very fast-paced life, right? I kind of think about it when I have 3 kids. They're all in their 20s now, but when they were little, think I had a 9-year-old, a 7-year-old, and a 4-year-old, right? And all three of them are trying to speak to me at the same time, Harris. And I'd say, and they all want to be heard right now.
Right.
And I would just say, stop.
Mm-hmm.
And I would point at one and say, go. And then
Mm-hmm.
I would point and I would literally listen to each one and I would listen and then I'd respond. I would listen and think about it like how you would speak to your kids or a child. And
Right.
I'm not trying to be rude. We're not children, but we want to be heard.
Mm-hmm.
And so the personal brand really relates around. Let me just give you a quick opinion. If I make a post and I ask a question, people love to do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I made a post the other day. I'm getting married in June, and I made a post, give me ideas for wedding dresses.
Okay.
Right? And people started posting photos. So I made sure, even though I did not like a lot of them, I made sure and I commented, oh my gosh, thank you so much. Or thanks for sharing the link. And that is a beautiful dress. Or that's not so much my style, but thank you. So
Right.
instead of, oh, it's ugly. What are you thinking? Right? That's how people act.
Right.
These women went and took their time to screenshot a photo or share a link or think about me.
Mm-hmm.
They took time out of their day to think about me in
Right.
this moment that I'm asking. So I sometimes step back and ask myself, what is it this person needs right now? They want to feel a part, they want to whatever. So for me, a lot of it is in that personal brand of if people are commenting and taking time to comment on your post to respond, even if it's just a heart.
Right. Right. Right.
People love when you respond to their comments, and it's a big part of my personal brand. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of comments, so I'll just do hearts,
Right.
but I try my hardest to always respond and give them that little bit of time that I can.
Right. And like you said, I do the same. I have someone that manage my social media, but I still go in when I get the alerts for comments. Like you said, it's just letting them know that they're heard, they're seen, and like you said, that you're not so big up here that you're reachable and you're considerate of, like you said, their comments and their support.
Yes, and I don't think that most of us, I'm not talking Oprah, okay? Oprah cannot respond to her comments. I get that. I understand that she's got people doing that for her because people
Right.
want something from her. But for me, I'm just an everyday person
Right.
that's building my success, my companies, my brand, and I care so much about women and their publicity and I want them to succeed and I want people to know who they are.
Right.
That I'm not going to be that person ever.
Right.
Okay.
Me.
But we also know that we only have so many hours in the day, right, Paris? I'm very honest. So there are things that my assistants do, and I do have a social media manager, and I do. But at the end of the day, for me to take a little time in the morning and a little time at night to respond to people I don't think it takes too much of my time.
Right, that's true. So Everyday Woman is dedicated to empowering women. Can you tell me some of the challenges women face in the business world today, and how can we help overcome these challenges?
Absolutely. One of the biggest challenges that I find for our women, we have a Facebook group of about 18,000 women. We've been growing it, like I said, since COVID. Amazing. And most of our women are online entrepreneurs or coaches or different things like that.
Mhm.
And for me, their biggest challenges are visibility.
Okay.
People don't know who they are. And
Mhm.
if people don't know who you are, Paris, they can't see how awesome you are and they
Right.
can't work with you and they can't hire you. And most of us women that are in these online spaces, we're here out of passion. We're here out of purpose and out of serving. We
Right.
do what we love. We also deserve to make money doing it
Right.
because we have a lot of experience and knowledge. But the biggest thing I've seen is people don't know who I am. The
Mhm.
second thing is I don't have enough clients. How do I get in front of them?
Mhm.
Right. And
Mhm.
then the third thing I've seen is a lot of women want to have control of their business and they don't recognize that staying a solopreneur, which means it's just them, they're never going to scale.
Right.
They've got to build teams. I have 4 businesses and 4 different teams. There's no way. And one of the things I always share is ask yourself how much money you make an hour. Let's just pretend like you're a coach. Let's
Mhm.
say it's $500, okay?
Mhm.
You get $500 an hour to coach somebody. And now you're on Canva making a graphic you can pay someone $20 for. What are
Right.
you doing?
Right.
So those are the biggest challenges that I'm finding that women are facing today.
And that's the thing, we as women, I don't know, like I think some numbers say that we could just rely on social media, run ads that could be successful. But I still miss that green roots part where we hit the streets and really get out there, networking events, going to in-person conferences. I feel like we need that, especially as entrepreneurs and as women as well, because you'll see, like you said, that visibility will increase. You'll get more support and you're able to sometimes lean on other women that going through some of the journey that what you're going through.
100%. And I always share both.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I've been involved in some of the local women's organizations, one for commercial real estate, eWomen's Network. I've also been involved in NABO in the past, the National Association of Women. I've been involved in so many. You kind of do it for a few years and then you try something else. I'm a big believer in person. First of all, we need it. Okay. I love Zoom. I'm so thankful for Zoom, Paris. It gives me an opportunity to meet women all over the world, just like you. It gives me an opportunity to share my personal brand and share my expertise with people all over the world. I do Zoom calls with 15, 20, 30 women. I couldn't do it in person. They're not here, but I go to at least 2 women's business lunches in person a month. I do at least one in-person networking tea a month with one person. And then I also do them online. I'll meet with 1 or 2 women a week that I've never met online, which I call them virtual teas. So absolutely. And if you're doing it right,
Right.
you're out there sharing those things on social media and people are seeing that you're out and about and you're doing things and you know people. And look, at the end of the day, those are the things that build your personal brand. If
Right.
it's profits and giving back, if it's business associations and luncheons, if it's one-on-one teas with somebody, whatever it might be.
And so in your coaching, how would you see what are some of the obstacles that you have encountered and how do you navigate those challenges?
So for me, a lot of times in the past, it's been boundaries. That's a huge one for women. They don't understand that they don't have to give people 24 hours a day if they're coaching them. So for me, the growth was putting in my contract my hours. I will reach out to you Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific. If you respond anytime before or after that, you might or might not hear from me. I'm off on holidays. I also write, do not message me on Facebook. Email me only. Like, it depends on your coaching, right, Paris? Some people use Voxer, some people, that's different. But it's really important. It was really important for me to understand that boundaries were a big one for me. And the other one was, how much time do I actually have and how many coaching clients can I really take? I don't do a lot of one-on-one coaching anymore because I'm too busy. So
Right.
now I'll do group programs.
Okay.
Or we'll do weekend programs. Like we'll do a weekend where you come in Vegas and you get a luxury photo shoot and video shoot and get to go to dinner with Angela and I, my business partner for Everyday Woman. And so we've learned that we have to maximize our time.
Right.
And you only have so many hours in the day. And especially when my kids were younger, I wasn't willing to take away from going to their musical because I had a client with an emergency, which usually it's not an emergency.
And what advice would you give to women entrepreneurs that starting out their business and don't know really how to grow their brand personally and, just don't know where to start?
So the first thing I would do is be crystal clear on your client avatar. And I know that people are pounding this into your head, but there's a reason for it. Okay. You've got to know who your client is. Then you've got to ask yourself, where are they hanging out? So let's just use Facebook just because it's fun and everyone's on it. Most everyone. Are your clients hanging out on Facebook? Great. So now it's time for you to start with one social media. Just start with one. It becomes a little overwhelming and not everyone can afford a social media manager right away. They're doing it themselves. I get it. I did it myself too once. So ask yourself where they're hanging out. And now I want you to step back and I want you to make a 30-day calendar. We don't always remember to post every day. I want you to make a 30-day calendar and I want you to use a scheduler. Okay, there's so many great ones out there. Hello Woofy is one of them. I mean, there's so many. I love Hello Woofy. So go schedule 30 days. Now, this doesn't mean that you're not going to be posting when you're out and about doing fun events, charity, going to a concert, dinner with your loved one. This means you don't have to stress because you have 30 days of posting happening. So I would highly recommend starting there. You've got to start somewhere, and that's the easiest place to start with your personal brand.
Okay. And what any goals or aspirations that you guys are working on this year for 2024 with Everyday Woman?
Absolutely. So our biggest thing right now is we want to get as many women as we can in magazines, in digital, online. And I'm not just talking one that's made up. I'm talking real ones. And there's ways to do it. So our aspiration this year is to get 500 women into magazines. If when you are being published, when you are visible, it makes you a credible authority, right? When I've been very blessed to be on about 7 or 8 magazine covers. And when someone sees me on a magazine cover, they think it's such a big deal. And I'm not downplaying it. I'm very blessed. I've worked 27 years for this in my businesses, but it's such a big deal because that's the way we're conditioned with society. So why not utilize that for your personal brand? And now people are seeing you as a credible authority.
And if people wanted to get in contact with you, what's the best way of reaching out to you?
I am all over social media, Paris. It's so easy to DM me. I'm under Galit Ventura-Rozen, my full name at Galit Ventura-Rozen on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. I know I'm missing something. I don't know all of them. Threads. I don't know, whatever.
And if you wanted to check out the show, when can they check it out in the airing?
They can watch for free.
Okay.
We have 85 TV hosts, over 400 episodes of shows at everydaywoman.tv.com. They can watch. It was such a big deal for us to give women the opportunity to have their own shows because I'd love to have my show on Oprah, but more than likely I won't. So I said, you know what, let's just build a network where women can have their own shows. So everydaywomentv.com, my show's on there, plus as 85 other women have their shows on there as well.
That is excellent. I love it. I have to check it out.
Yes, please. And I'm going to interview you too. We'll set that up, Paris. I want you on my show.
Sure, I'd love to come over there. So yeah, thank you for joining us today. It was a pleasure talking to you. Hopefully people get a better understanding of personal brand. I feel like during the pandemic, we brushed through this personal branding, and when it comes to entrepreneurs, because it was like everything was virtual, and people really didn't know what to say, what not to say, what to post, what not to post, because everybody was, I feel like, was comparing themselves to a Cardi B. And
that's fair.
And we as entrepreneurs, we're in a different industry, so we can't be as vocal as she is. So I feel like this conversation needs to come back around, because you're seeing a lot of it coming up now.
Agreed. And it's not so hard. I just really want to put it out there. Right. It's more about being consistent, putting in the work, and understanding what you're doing. Sometimes women don't know how to do this. So reach out to me, reach out to Paris. Let's show you how to do it. Right. Because if I could do it, I came from commercial real estate, Paris. My first business is commercial real estate, brick and mortar. And I built this brand with like 22 pages on Google about me. And it's possible. It's not like rocket science. It really is not. I promise, ladies.
Well, thank you so much for talking with us today. Always welcome to come back and talk about women empowerment, anything you're working on. You're always a friend of the show, so thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Tune in to the Diva Hustle Show. Motivate the glow. We get you more info. Think to my head to toe. I let the whole world know.